Hello everybody. Hope you remember 9 phyla are there and we have just started off with one. It shines like a moon. Hence it is called round and shines like a moon. It is called moon jelly also, right? The process of digestion takes place inside the cell. You can see the beautiful picture of Gorgonia that is called sea fan. It looks like a hand fan. Welcome back to session 4 of this very important chapter called Animal Kingdom. What did we learn in session 3 of this beautiful topic or a chapter called Animal Kingdom? We studied about phylum Porifera. Hope you remember we classified the animals into invertebrates and vertebrates, and phylum Invertebrata included how many classes? How many phylums? 9 phyla. And we have gone through the first very important phyla that belongs to Parazoa, that is phylum Porifera. And the classical example was what? Sponges, right? So what are we going to study in today's session? In today's session, we are going to start with a very new phylum called phylum Coelenterata. Hope you remember 9 phyla are there and we have just started off with one. We have completed one and we are moving on to the second very important phylum called Coelenterata. This phylum called Coelenterata, they are also called Cnidaria. They are also called Cnidaria means nettle, because they resemble the nettle, the stinging plant called nettle, hence the name Cnidaria. And very important characteristic feature of the coelenterates is they have a very specialized cells called nematocysts. Or they are also called as stinging cells, because they resemble the stinging plant called nettle. Cnidaria means what? Nettle, right? Now let us start with the characteristic features. What are the distinguished characteristic features of phylum Coelenterata? As I remember, do you all remember in the last phylum, when I was dealing with the last phylum, that is phylum Porifera, I told that each and every phyla has different characteristic features. So it is very difficult to remember all the points, and all the characters will be based on the basis of classification. As we have already started off, like how do we classify the animals based on the certain basis of classification, right? So each and every point what I am going to discuss about the characteristic feature of this phylum Coelenterata is very important. So what is this phylum all about? Phylum Coelenterata is also called as what? Cnidaria. Cnidaria means what? Nettle. Nettle means what? It resembles a stinging plant called nettle, hence the name Cnidaria. And what is the very speciality of this phylum? There in Porifera, the poriferans means what? Pore bearers. All over the body there were numerous minute pores called ostia, hence the name Porifera. Why they are called Cnidarians? Because they have nematocysts. As I said, even nettle, stinging cells, or what you call them as nematocysts, which is very important for the animal to capture the prey, and also it is used as a defense mechanism. Right, now let us start with the characteristic features. First and foremost, characteristic feature, they are exclusively aquatic. They are not terrestrial animals, they are exclusively aquatic animals, and majority of them are what? Marine forms. What do you mean by marine forms? Those animals which live in sea water, and a very few are freshwater forms. What do you mean by freshwater? Like the ponds, lakes, rivers, etc. So what is the first very important characteristic feature of these Cnidarians? They are exclusively aquatic in nature, and majority of them are marine forms, and a few of them are freshwater forms. A very important and a very easy point also for you all to remember. Next, second characteristic feature. Hope you remember poriferans were having what? Cellular grade of body organization. They were multicellular organisms, and their body was restricted to what level? Cellular level. Children, as I said, you need to do this comparative study. Compare phylum Porifera with phylum Coelenterata, the characters. Then definitely you will be able to remember. Do the comparative study, right? So there in Porifera, they were multicellular organisms, but they were restricted to what level? Only to cellular level. See how the animals have evolved from simplicity to complexity. So like we have started off with phylum Porifera and we are going to end with class Mammalia. By the time we reach class Mammalia, you can see what a lot of development would have taken place in the body of an organism. That is why we call all this as what? Lower organism. Those we call it as higher organism. So the animals have evolved from simplicity to complexity, from simple forms to complex forms, right? So there they were they were restricted to cellular grade of body organization, but these are the organisms which have that is they are the first multicellular animals. So there they were multicellular cells were there, but they were not grouped into tissues. So here they have a tissue grade of body organization. So their bodies, what are the 4 levels? Cellular level, organ level, cellular level, tissue level, organ system level. Here they are the first multicellular animals to have what? Tissue grade of body organization. These animals have restricted to what level of body organization? That is tissue grade of body organization. Cells are there and cells are grouped into tissues. Whereas in Porifera, they were restricted to cellular grade of body organization. Because they have tissue grade of organization, this phylum has 4 basic tissues. What are they? The epithelial tissue, the muscular tissue, the connective tissue and the nervous tissue are developed. See how we can see the animals have started developing. As I said, from simplicity to complexity. Poriferans were very simpler organisms. See how as we move on to the phyla, we can see a better body organization. So here you can see the tissue grade of body organization where the tissues group what? That is there are different types of tissues like what? Like epithelial tissue, muscular tissue and connective tissue and the nervous tissue, which have a great role to play in carrying on the body functions. So this is our next very important characteristic feature. So what is the second very important characteristic feature? They are multicellular animals to have what? Tissue grade of body organization. There are special types of tissues like the epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue and nervous tissue are well developed. Next very important characteristic feature, they are radially symmetrical animals. Hope you remember what do you mean by symmetry? You can cut the body of an animal into 2 equal halves and these animals are radially symmetrical. What do you mean by that? You can cut the body of an animal into 2 equal halves in more than one plane or one direction radially. Right? So you can cut the body of an animal into 2 equal halves in more than one plane, hence they are radially symmetrical animals. Whereas in Porifera they were asymmetrical. In any direction you cannot cut the body of an animal into 2 equal halves. As I said, do the comparative study and see you will not forget any of the characteristic feature of the phylum. That is the best way to remember. Next, they are diploblastic animals. What do you mean by diploblastic animals? The body wall is made up of 2 layers. What are the 2 layers? Outer ectoderm and inner endoderm, and in between the ectoderm and endoderm there is a non-cellular layer called mesoglia. A non-cellular layer called mesoglia. That is a very, very important characteristic feature. These animals are diploblastic animals. What is body mean by diploblastic? The body wall is made up of 2 layers, outer ectoderm, 2 germinal layers, that is outer ectoderm and inner endoderm, and in between these 2 layers there is a non-cellular gelatinous substance called mesoglia. Hence they are diploblastic animals. Hope you can see in this beautiful picture Hydra. Hydra is a classical example for coelentrates, and very important is you might have come across the process of reproduction is through budding. What is a bud? It is an outgrowth. What is a bud? It is an outgrowth. At this particular region of the parent body, repeated mitotic cell division will take place. Repeated mitotic cell division will take, and this repeated mitotic cell division will lead to what? An outgrowth, and this outgrowth is called as a bud, and this bud will remain attached to the parent body till it is completely developed or matured. So once it is completely matured, it detaches from the parent body and leads an independent life. So this is an asexual mode of reproduction. This is asexual mode of reproduction. So Hydra, as I said, and you can see here, they are nothing but called tentacles. And on the body you can see a specialized cells. And this is the mouth region. This is the mouth. And you can see the tentacles covering all over the mouth. And there are specialized cells called, what do you call it as, nematocysts. Or they are also called as stinging cells. Hence the name Cnidaria, nematocysts. Right? And what is the function of these nematocysts or stinging cells? To paralyze the prey. Whichever prey they are going to catch, it is going to paralyze. These cells are going to paralyze the prey so that it cannot escape from the clutches of the Hydra. And moreover, it is also used as a defense mechanism. So the other animals will not come near this animal because of this stinging cells or nematocysts. Hope you can see this beautiful picture, right? So this is about the very important characteristic features of Coelenterata. Now let us once again brief up. So they are exclusively aqua. Why they are called as Cnidaria means what? Nettle. Because they resemble what? The stinging plant called nettle, hence the name nettle. Then and as I said, Cnidarians means what? They have nematocysts or stinging cells. What are these stinging cells or nematocysts used to? To paralyze the prey or even for defense also, to protect itself from the predators. What are the other very important characteristic features? These are exclusively aquatic forms found only in water. Majority of them are marine forms and a few are freshwater forms. Second very important characteristic feature is what? They are multicellular organisms and they are the first to have what? Tissue grade of body organization. Cells are there and cells group into what? Tissues. And there are specialized tissues like the epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue and nervous tissue well developed because they have what? Tissue grade of body organization. And what type of animals these are? These are radially symmetrical animals. That is, the body can be cut into two equal halves in more than one plane. And they are diploblastic animals. What do you mean by diploblastic animals? The body wall is made up of two layers. What are the two layers? Outer ectoderm, inner endoderm, and middle it is a non-cellular gelatinous layer called mesoglea. So these are diploblastic animals, and here you can see the beautiful picture of Hydra having that is, as I said, the asexual mode of reproduction is through budding, and bud is nothing but an outgrowth which is formed at particular region of the parent body, and the bud remains attached to the parent body till it is completely developed. Once it is completely developed, it detaches from the parent body and leads an independent life. And you can see the mouth covering with many tentacles. Tentacles are also organs of what? To capture the prey, and also as organs of defense. And they have a specialized cells called nematocysts which is used to paralyze the prey and also for defense. Let us move on to the remaining very important characteristic features of phylum Coelenterata. Hope you can see this beautiful picture. This is nothing but Aurelia. Aurelia, or it is called jellyfish. You know what is the other name for it? It is also called as moon jelly. You know, it shines like a moon, hence it is called round and shines like a moon. It is called moon jelly also, right? And you can see the tentacles here, right? Now let us start with the remaining. The ectoderm here consists of, as I said, where do you find the nematocysts on the ectoderm? As I said, they are diploblastic animals having two layers, outer ectoderm and inner endoderm, and the ectoderm has specialized cells called cnidoblasts, hence the name Cnidaria, or stinging cells, and they produce what? Cell organelles called nematocysts, which is used for what? For defense as well as for paralyzing the prey. And particularly these nematocysts are found in large number near the tentacles. As you have seen in the previous slide, where do you come across the nematocysts in large number? In the near the tentacle, because they are the organs which is used to catch the prey, and also they are the organs which is used for defense. So you come across the nematocysts more in number near the tentacles surrounding the mouth. Next, coelentrates exhibit two forms, and that is called polymorphism. What do you mean by poly? Many. Morphism is morphological. So it is going to exhibit more than one individual, hence the name polymorphism. What is it? Cylindrids exist in two different forms such as polyp, and the other one is called polyp is what? Polyform, which is sessile. Polyps are, so what are the two forms? Polyp and medusae. Polyp is sessile, cylindrical and asexual zooid, whereas medusae is free swimming and it is sexual zooid, and it is umbrella shaped. Here it is cylindrical shape, here it is umbrella shaped, and it is a sexual zooid. So cylindrids exist in two different forms. What are the two different forms? One is the polyp form and the other one is the medusae. Some will exhibit only polyp form when they are called polypoid. Some may exhibit only the medusae form when they are called medusaeoid. So when there are some animals which exhibit both polyp and medusae, then you call it as polymorphism, right? Few cylindrids exist in both polyp and medusae form, and then it is called what? Polymorphism. I'll repeat, hope I am not confusing you all. As I said, these cylindrids, particularly the ectoderm, will have specialized cells called nematocysts, or they are also called as cnidoblasts, or they are also called as stinging cells. And what are they? And they are more in number in the tentacular region, and they are used for what? They are used for capturing the prey, that is the paralyzing the prey, and also as an organ of defense. And cylindrids exhibit what? Two types of forms. One is called the polyp form, the other one is called the medusae form. So what are polyps? Polyps are sessile, cylindrical form, cylindrical shape, and they are asexual zooids. Whereas medusae are free swimming, umbrella shaped, and they are sexual zooids. So some may exhibit only polyp stage so they are going to exhibit two stages in the life history. One is called the polyp stage, the other one is called the medusae stage. Some will exhibit only the polyp stage when they are called as polypoids. Some will exhibit only the medusae stage when they are called medusaeoids. Or sometimes they exhibit both the polyp and the medusae stage. Then there are, what do you call that as? Polymorphism. So as I said, cnidarians which exist in both polyp and medusae exhibit what? Alternation of generation called metagenesis. What is alternation of generation? Asexual reproduction followed by sexual reproduction is called metagenesis. Metagenesis, or it is otherwise called alternation of generation. Alternation of generation. What do you mean by alternation of generation? One generation followed by the other, that is asexual reproduction followed by sexual reproduction. These are the remaining very important characteristic features of the very important phylum called that is the cylindrids. So as I said, the ectoderm consists of what? The ectoderm consists of nematocysts or cnidoblasts or stinging cells which help in paralyzing the prey and also helps in defense. And cylindrids exist in two forms. One is called the polyp form, the other one is called the medusaeoid form. So sometimes they may exhibit in polypoid stage, or sometimes they may exhibit in medusaeoid form. When they exhibit in polyp stage, they are called polypoids. When they exhibit in medusae stage, they are called medusaeoid. Sometimes they exhibit in both the forms when you call it as polymorphism. And when they exhibit polymorphism, or when there is cnidarians which exist in both polyp and medusae stage exhibit what we call it as alternation of generation. It is also called as what? Metagenesis. This is a word which is asked for 1 mark question in your question paper. What is metagenesis? What is alternation of generation? What do you mean by alternation of generation? That is asexual reproduction followed by sexual reproduction.